The Division is an online, loot-driven RPG cleverly disguised as a third-person shooter set in the grim aftermath of a biological attack on New York City. Admirably, the game commits to its grounded vision of a medically induced apocalypse, and while its story sticks primarily to tried-and-true survival tropes, the narrative is solidly executed. Key moments receive full cutscenes, and in between, constant radio banter means you always know exactly what you're doing and why. That alone goes a long way towards making your actions feel meaningful. Plus, its desolate, haunting recreation of Midtown Manhattan might be the most impressive urban world map outside of a Rockstar game, with dense urban environments that seem painstakingly assembled rather than cut and pasted into place. The variety and authenticity of the world invite exploration just like the streets of San Andreas. Sadly, the predictable AI isn't quite as impressive. No matter who you're up against, you know exactly how each enemy is going to come at you, which can make certain lower-stakes gunfights feel like a chore. Some of the basic gameplay mechanics are slightly sloppy as well. The core aiming and shooting are totally serviceable, but you can't crouch, jump, or go prone, and I occasionally had to contend with objects like poorly placed railings obstructing my view when I was aiming cover. Though some of the Division's mechanics stumble, others work extremely well. Being able to equip any unlocked perk on the fly, for example, turns the game's extensive skill trees into flexible strategic options. The active abilities in particular, which include seeker mines, deployable cover, and a portable health station, add a distinctive signature to the moment-to-moment shooting. As a result, the Division's gameplay is generally fun and engaging in spite of the enemy AI. Sure, they're predictable, but when they're rushing you and sniping you and trying to blow you up all at once, you still have to dodge, aim, heal, and get back into cover regardless. The action is always frantic and challenging, and while that can make the experience exhausting, it can also, and frequently does, trigger real adrenaline. Unfortunately, the adrenaline rush occasionally slows to a drip, at least for a time. Most side missions are recycled throughout the game and eventually feel repetitive, especially since you're forced to grind through them in an attempt to level up your character. Thankfully, the larger campaign missions deliver an impressive variety of thrilling scenarios and carefully crafted environments. I experienced a healthy number of memorable gameplay moments and intense boss battles, and impressively, you can walk right into these missions from the hub world with zero loading. The Division also offers 4-player co-op throughout, but importantly, it remains fun even when you're flying solo. If you can pull together a full 4-man team though, the gameplay blossoms in unexpected ways. When you're able to revive downed teammates, cover multiple sightlines, set up flanks, and utilize a wider set of character perks, you realize both the level design and the enemy AI almost function better during the massive firefights that ensue. Not only does the gameplay become far more strategic, you finally feel truly unstoppable. If you're feeling a little less cooperative, you can also visit the Dark Zone, a massive, unstructured PvP area in the middle of the city where other players might help you conquer the AI, or they might backstab you and steal all the stuff you've collected. The tension of not knowing how an interaction will play out is truly unlike anything you'll find in a modern shooter, and the significance of loot back in the main game makes the stakes in the Dark Zone feel incredibly real. To be clear, loot is an integral part of the experience. Your chances of survival are heavily dictated by the gear you equip, so be prepared to spend plenty of time in menus comparing the numerical attributes of knee pads and pistol holsters. That may sound dry to some, but honestly, loot compelled me to keep playing more than any other aspect. The Division is relentless, making you earn every kill. So when you stumble upon a new weapon with drastically increased stats, you feel a sudden surge of elation because you know you might finally have an edge over your damage-soaking enemies. I only wish those moments had cropped up more often. Put simply, the Division is stingy when it comes to gear and XP. It still manages to feel plenty rewarding as you progress, but a slightly kinder XP system and an extra layer of gear rarity may have gone a long way to alleviate the frustration and fatigue I experienced. Still, no matter how frustrated I grew with the game's tiresome enemies or its demanding leveling structure, I absolutely could not stop playing. The world was too engrossing, the loot was too enticing, and the campaign was too gripping for me to simply walk away. In fact, I'm gonna go start grinding for the high-end endgame gear right now. I might have a problem.
That should do it, Agent. Solid work.
Yes, good work.